So you're very welcome to Breath and Body with me, Joanne Faulkner. I'm a shiatsu practitioner, and I'm going to show you some great acupressure points, some foods, and some Qigong exercises to really help with your digestion and your breathing. Because in Chinese medicine, the two are very much interlinked. How you breathe and how you digest are actually kind of paired in a way. So like I say, I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner, and I specialize in shiatsu, which is acupuncture without needles. So I'm going to show you how you can work those acupuncture points yourself, and you can take control of your own health. It's really the best place to start, to be autonomous in your body. My mission is to help you understand what your body is saying to you with your symptoms, because that's all it does. All your symptoms are just your body's way of talking to you to help you come back to balance. And that's what Chinese medicine is all about. It's about balance. You'll know the yin and the yang, the black and the white, that things are constantly changing, constantly moving, but they're always looking for balance. And the body also is looking always for homeostasis, that point of balance. So today we're specifically looking at breath and body, because next month in Chi Flow with Joe, we're going to be doing Qigong exercises, acupressure, and lots of recipe foods for breath and body. So I thought I'd just give you a small introduction and share some points with you. Doors to Chi Flow are open now, and they will stay open for a week. So if you want to join, you get the rest of September for free. And also then you'll go into in-depth breath and body work for the month of October. So let's begin. So in Chinese medicine, the idea of breath is when you take your first breath as a baby, you kind of take that first cry. In Chinese medicine, it's believed that that's when your soul enters your body. That's when you really begin your life as a human being. Your spirit enters the human body. And that is so that our breath will always show us how our state of mind is and how our body is. Are you breathing really shallowly? Are you breathing just up here? Or are you breathing deep and low? Do you find that your breath gets caught? Are you anxious? It's a very easy way to see what's going on in the body, is to see how we're breathing. Are we breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth? Breath is about more than just oxygen coming in and transferring to the blood cells. Actually, when we breathe in, negative ions, which are on the air that we breathe, come in, are absorbed through the nasal passages, and actually fill the brain with an electrical charge. So it really, on a very literal, energetic level, breath is absolutely essential. We all know that. And in Chinese medicine, each of the organs is paired with another. We always have a pair. We always have a yin and we always have a yang. The yin organ is receptive. It's often seen as the female. It's very receptive, very nurturing, and this would be the lungs. The organs of the lungs would be yin. And the partner organ with that would be the large intestine. That's yang. So if you like, it's always emptying and filling, emptying and filling. This is a distinction between yin and yang. Yang is very active, often wants to be warm and moving, whereas yin is cool and receptive. So you could maybe feel that in your organs right now. You could feel that your lungs should be nice and cool, slightly moist, very receptive to the oxygen and to the negative ion electricity that's coming into your body, whereas your organs in your digestion, nice and kind of warm, active and moving. In Chinese medicine, you'll see here in my book, there's 5 elements, and the lung large intestine is the autumn element. So often in the autumn, the lungs can get very hot and dry, and that's not what we want. We want cool and moist, whereas actually the large intestine needs to be nice and warm. And the color that goes with the large intestine, if I just flick through the book and find you that, there we go. So you'll see here a nice description of the 5 elements. And here you can see in a kind of gray color are the lungs and the large intestine. And quite often when somebody's lung and large intestine are out of balance, you'll see that they look very pale, they look very white and kind of washed out. Quite often that means that they're fighting a virus. If you've seen anybody with COVID or long COVID, they can look very, very pale. So if you're fighting a virus, not only do you need to be looking at your lungs, but you need to take care of your large intestine. So let's do the first Qigong exercise to help connect the 2 organs. Okay, so I put one hand on my belly, one hand on my chest. And we're going to do what's called wave breathing. So wave breathing, we imagine the belly opens and then the chest. And breathing out, it's like a wave. The chest comes down, the belly goes in, sending the belly button back to the spine. Okay, so if we're breathing properly, our belly will come out first, followed by the lungs. And then the belly collapses and the belly expands. So we need this wave breathing. Quite often we are shallow breathing, and the oxygen and the massage that the diaphragm gives the large intestine often isn't happening if we aren't breathing deeply. You might imagine that what often helps you to breathe deeply is, imagine you are inhaling the scent of a rose. I know that this is an onion because we're going to talk about the foods later, but imagine I'm inhaling, and that kind of inhalation goes really right down deep, right down to your belly button. And that's where you're aiming to send your breath. Okay, so let's practice wave breathing right now, and then I'll show you a point. So one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. Just focus in, letting the energy drop to the lower hand. Breathe in through the nose as if you're breathing in and taking in a scent. Belly expands, then the chest. Breathing out. Chest compress, belly compress. Bring your belly button back to the spine. Breathe in through the nose. Belly expands, chest expands. Breathe out. Chest compress, belly compress. Breathe in. Breathe out. Going to do this last time together. Breathing in. Belly expand, bottom hand coming out, chest coming up. Breathing out. Chest compress, belly compress. And let it go, stroking down your chest. So that's one place to really begin. And that's where we will begin Qi Flow with Jo, is with the wave and bringing it into dragon back, which brings then the energy, the Kundalini energy up the spine to open that. But we need to begin at the basics, which is wave breathing. How do you breathe? Do you breathe upside down? Does your chest come out first? That's breathing upside down. Breathing the right way is belly expand, chest expand. Now, if you have problems with that, it could be that you have a problem. Often they call it the solar plexus. In Chinese medicine, a little bit different. We have different points. And I'm going to show you the point that will help to kind of release this solar plexus area and help connect your lung to your large intestine. There's a muscle here that comes under the rib cage called your diaphragm. And if you're using that properly, it should be about this big. But if you don't use your diaphragm properly and breathe nice and deep, it can shrink and shrink and shrink to the size of a pea. So we need to really engage that diaphragm. And often with the emotions that relate to the lung, the emotion that relates to the lung is grief. In Chinese medicine, with the 5 elements, there's there's an emotion that links to each of the organ pairs. And with the lung and large intestine, it's grief, sadness, disconnection, isolation, loneliness. And if you imagine what happens when you feel that grief is the breath is all up here and the diaphragm becomes very, very tight. And that means you're not getting enough oxygen and blood to your large intestine, which means that your digestion is going to suffer. So quite often people start cutting out all sorts of different foods where actually the root of the problem is with the breath. So let me show you a brilliant point that relaxes the diaphragm and allows the lungs to connect with your large intestine. So find your belly button and put one palm above your belly button. And now this is all on your midline. And now find just the point above where your palm is. So I'll show you one more time. Find your belly button, put your palm, and then find that point on the midline. Now, just gently, you can use your fingers and massage into this point. Feel any grief, sadness, isolation, just melting away. It's CV12. Simone is asking which one it is. CV. This is the conception vessel that runs up the front of the body to the below the lower lip. So if you ever want to strengthen your body, just run your fingers up the front of your body like a zip and zip it shut. Bring it up, zip it shut. But to find the digestion point, find your belly button, put your palm and your finger there. You can also use the palm of your hand. You know that quite instinctually we use a lot of these points. So when we're feeling like a knot in our stomach, when we talk about worry or sadness, we feel a knot in the stomach. So here with this point, with CV12, we're just easing it out. Conception vessel 12. Holding that point. Let's see if you can really take a sniff of the rose again. Has that helped the breathing? Belly button goes down back to the spine as you breathe out. Breathing in. Sniff the rose. Breathe out. Okay, so that hopefully you can feel that this begins to work. This really works. It's been around for 4,000 years and I've had thousands of clients and there's hundreds of us doing Qigong every morning. This really works. If you want to make a change, take action and initiate a change. Maybe try some of these practices. So another thing that people don't often put together is the lung and the large intestine in the way that if the intestines are not flowing properly, and if you find yourself constipated or tight and you can't, your stools are maybe like pebbles, very dehydrated, I'm going to show you a point which is for constipation. But also you will notice that if you get constipation, you feel very foggy headed. Often your sinuses become really clogged and full. In Chi Flow next month, I will be doing specific points around the face to help with that brain fog. But right now, I'm going to show you the point for constipation that will also ease toothache and any congestion like sinusitis around the front of the head. But if you're pregnant, please don't do this point. It's such a powerful point that it will move things in your lower belly too quickly. And if you're pregnant, you don't want to move things. You want to kind of keep them nurturing. But if you're constipated, you want to move things. So here we go. So taking your thumb and put it next to your hand, we're going to do large intestine 4. Now the lung meridian starts here, comes down the inside of the arm because it's yin and it's soft, comes to the thumb. Large intestine is the index finger and comes back up on the outside because it's yang and tough. So we're going to come down almost where these two join. So we're going to put the thumb next to the index finger. And can you see I've kind of got a mountain here? It's like a bulbous lump. I'm going to find the top of the mountain, and then I'm just going to let go. And that is large intestine 4. So how to do self-shiatsu? Self-shiatsu isn't just like pushing a button. It's like talking to you. I've just had a client, and I was listening to her body. As I was using the points, I was listening to the energy as it was coming back into my hands and back into my thumb. So I'd like you to do the same. Just press and hold. Sometimes it feels really stuck and solid, especially if you're constipated. Sometimes it can feel very empty, and then you want to draw the energy to it. And if it is constipated and it's really stuck, give it a massage. Use your fingers to massage that whole web of your hand here. Now you've got 2 hands, so let's do the other side. Let's go through it again. Thumb to the index finger, you've got a mound, and pressing. You found the point. And we're going to press into here. Like I say, don't do it if you're pregnant. And see if you can connect, and see if you can feel. I can feel there's a part of my intestines that is just, I can feel it relaxing just over my ileocecal valve. That just feels like it's relaxing slightly. Very nice. Should feel kind of pleasurable. This can be a painful point, but just kind of hold, massage, hold, massage. So large intestine 4, and this large intestine meridian comes all the way up to the nose, and this helps clear. But like I say, that's for chi flow next month. Otherwise, we'll be here for hours. Okay, so I will show you more points, but that point there is very good at clearing sinuses that can happen when you're all blocked up, and also toothache. So just massaging into that point. You can let me know in the questions how that was for you. And as we're here, we're going to do lung 7. And lung 7, it's a gate point, so that if you have got any viruses or pathogens, anything in the body, it helps to take them to the outside. Okay, helps to get you rid of any pathogens. So what I want you to do is put your fingers together like that, and where your index finger falls on the inside is lung 7. So let's do that again. Put your web of your fingers together and bring your index finger to the inside of your forearm. This is lung 7, really helping with your immune system. Now, Chi Flow with Joe in October will be about breath and body. And then in November, we'll have the continuation of that and be strengthening your immune system, helping your Wei Qi. There's this whole kind of thing that surrounds you like a glow, which is called your Wei Qi. It's your protective boundary. And lung 7 is going to really help support that. So let's do on the other side. These web come together. Index finger comes over to the forearm. Can you see that? I'm not on the bone. I'm just underneath the bone. I'm pressing into here. This is lung 7. Now let's take the lung meridian up and do lung 1. And I'm going to show you a really great move for opening the lungs. So if you are feeling, oh, there's my train. Let's get my train go past. Quite often when we're sad, we hold our shoulders, we hunch our shoulders forwards. And the other unfortunate thing is if we're working at a desk a lot, we tend to hunch our shoulders and we're compromising our lung 1 point. Lung 1 is if you take your fingers out along your collarbone, come 3 fingers down, and you will find a hollow. So collarbone, and 3 fingers down from where your collarbone meets your rotator cuff, exactly where my mic is your lung 1. You'll tend to find it because it'll be sore. And again, this is going to help open. If you've been sitting at a desk all day, it can actually make you feel quite sad. If you feel like you're hunched over or you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders, you can feel so alone. In Chinese medicine, the body is a whole picture. You know, when did you last go to the doctor and the doctor asked kind of what's going on with you, like in the rest of your life? Your emotions impact your physical condition. Okay, so either your physical condition can make you feel certain ways, or you feeling certain ways means that your body responds. So either way, this rooster spreads feathers will help you open your chest, help you connect, help you be socially interactive. Maybe that's feeling a little bit fearful as we're coming out of kind of many lockdowns. So maybe you're already kind of holding a little bit of fear. So finding lung one, taking your fingers along your collarbone, 3 fingers underneath, and just making crane's bills. See, like that, like a little bird. I want you to massage into lung one. It helps move your shoulders and open the whole lung channel. And so we're going to go into a Qigong movement, which is called Rooster Spreads Feathers. You ready? So with your elbows, just start to draw circles with your elbows. Still keeping your rooster's bill in lung one. How are your rooster's feathers? So you're a rooster waking up in the morning. Now let's go the other way. And again, you might feel, see what you feel in your body. Can you feel your diaphragm relaxing as you do this? Maybe you feel your intestines relaxing as well. Okay, there's rooster spreads feathers. Now there's more to that move, but I'm just going to leave it there. I would really advise you to practice that. You can tap down lung meridian now to your thumb. Tapping down the inside of the arm to the thumb. And just feel, how does your belly feel? Does it feel different than we started this? Does it feel more relaxed? There's such a connection between your breath and your digestion, because it's what's about being human. Remember, I talked to you at the beginning about being the baby and the spirit coming in the body. The digestion is about receiving, absorbing, and eliminating. That is really being human. And so is breathing. So those two are very connected. And so I wanted to talk about the food. So you know that I do the pressure points. I do the Qigong exercise, which moves the energy through the meridians. Really safe exercise. I'm 53, so I'm not going to be doing a treadmill. That's not my kind of exercise at all. But it really works. It keeps the body fit, healthy, good circulation, good digestion. So I've shown you some Qigong moves, and now I'm going to talk to you about the food. So, you know, I said that in the 5-element diagram, there is a color, which is white. There is the 2 organs. There's a time of year, which is autumn. There's a time of day for the lung and the large intestine. So if you find yourself waking up 4 in the morning, probably something to do with the lung. And there is a flavor that is associated with the lung and the large intestine. So that, for instance, the flavor for kidney and bladder is salty. The flavors for stomach and spleen is sweet. The flavor for lung and large intestine is pungent. What do I mean by pungent? What's pungent? What's pungent? Well, onions are pungent. What happens when you cut an onion is it really affects all your mucous membranes. Your eyes water, your nose begins to water. And if, like me, in my 20s, I used to have to chop. I worked as a commie chef in a kitchen, and I used to have to chop so many onions. And eventually my lungs would literally be burning with the impact of the pungent flavor. So anything of the onion family, leeks, shallots, garlic, pungent flavor, ginger, really pungent flavor. all of these things, when you think about what happens when you eat them, how do you feel? Do you feel hot or cold? Generally, when you eat onions and garlic, they're warming for the mouth. So these kind of gently warming foods are very, very beneficial for the lung and the large intestine. They stop the lungs being dry and cold. And we definitely don't want the intestines to get cold. Can you imagine if they got cold? They just don't move. We need some warmth. Clove, cinnamon, cumin, cardamom. It seems like any herb or spice beginning with C, but can you get an idea? Those warming winter spices, we're coming into that kind of pumpkin spice, as it's called in the US. You know, you get lots of kind of cinnamon. These are all fantastic for your lung and large intestine. And the other thing that's great for the large intestine, lung intestine is mushrooms. And we know this now. There's a big thing about vitamin D. Chinese medicine has known this for thousands of years, but vitamin D has really been promoted with COVID as something that you really need for large intestine health. Vitamin D, a really fantastic source of vitamin D is mushrooms. And actually these are dried shiitake mushrooms, and they have a chemical in them called interferon, and interferon actually repairs your gut. So if you've had colon cancer, they usually give you interferon. Also, if you have AIDS, an autoimmune disease, they will also, interferon is really recommended there as well. So a lot of these foods, they have the chemicals even before Chinese medicine understood why. Now Western medicine can tell you why. So all of these generally have a white color. And do you remember I said lung, large intestine, white is the color. So that will also guide you as to what foods to eat. So do I have any more? I think leeks, shallots, I'm thinking other things. I think really we will go to some questions. I think questions is the place to go. So I'm going to come out of this one now. And so just tell me, has anybody got any questions? I'll go to the chat first. I'll put my headphones in because otherwise I won't be able to hear you. Let me have a look. Oh, Simone, you were asking me how to spell pungent. P-U-N-G-E-N-T, pungent. It means that it would kind of cut through any other smell. A pungent smell would be very kind of piercing. You would smell that above all others. So if I had something that was like a sweet smell, the pungent smell, you would definitely smell over that. Think leeks, garlic, ginger, onions. Those are really very, another word for pungent. These are really effective for our mucous membranes. Let's have a look in the chat. That's great, Jana. You spelled that for her. Brilliant. Now I'm going to put it to unmute. And you can unmute yourself and you can ask me anything you want. Anybody? Hey, Eileen. Hey, Janu and Ruth. Good morning. And Nicola. Hey, Simone.
Hi. I have a question. I've been trained as a shiatsu practitioner for about 4 years, and I've been exercising on other people. And there was a woman who had irritable bowel syndrome, but she also had a nose piercing. I think that's not so good if you have that problem.
It's very difficult to comment on a third person. Yeah, it's very difficult to comment on a third person. It depends where the nose piercing would be. Really, if it's in the flesh of the nose,
no,
it's
here.
Not really.
Here.
Yeah. Okay, well then it might affect the large intestine. But quite often piercings are used for health in the ears, for migraines. And so piercings of themselves are not bad for the body, but you do have to take care where you get them, especially kind of in your eyes. You know, they can damage the nerves. So I can't really, without laying my hands on her, I wouldn't know, especially if that was what was causing the irritable bowel. But an easy way to test it would be to take out the piercing for a week and
Yeah.
see how her bowels were.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but she was not to be influenced by that.
Then you might ask her to see
That's a
what
long
her...
time ago. Huh? Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So it's not a current case.
No.
It's difficult to comment in third party. I think if somebody was coming to me with that, then I would just really kind of bring them into their body and almost kind of ask their body, was it to do with the nose piercing or not?
Okay.
You know, irritable bowel is such a wide scope.
Yeah, difficult.
So actually, when people are diagnosed with irritable bowel, I have yet to have two people come with the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I would want to kind of, with some clean questioning, ask her to question her own body. Is it to do with the piercing? Why did I get the piercing? Why am I resistant to taking it out for a week? But really, the client themselves, you can only hold the space for the client to give you the answer and for the client's body to give you the answer.
Okay.
You know, because we can come with all these preconceptions, but yeah, I know that the meridian ends here, so if I have a piercing here, I know that's going to be detrimental. That's really our own thinking. But if we can just hold the space with the knowledge that this might be a possibility and ask clean questions about how does that make you feel if you want to take that out for a week. So what emotions does that bring up in you? Where do you feel that in your body? And really take the emotion back into the body and see whether it's in the big toe, is it in the nose, is it in the knee?
Okay.
Let the body speak. Let the body speak.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Simone. How about anybody else? You can unmute. Carrie, let's have a look here. I can see something in the chat. Any tips for chronic pain that can be burning all over and might include migraine type pain, diagnosed with fibromyalgia and complex regional pain syndrome after several accidents? Well, that is outside of the scope of this talk, to be fair. Tips for chronic pain, the first place I would go to would be the breath, and also to just keep an eye on my stuff. I will be running an online course for fibromyalgia and chronic pain in the upcoming months, so do keep an eye on for that. But with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, again, there's a whole host of reasons of why the body is now starting to attack itself. What has been compromised in the stress response? What has happened? And like you say there, you've had several accidents. So I would be really working at it from that kind of stress response. And your stress response is usually your kidneys. So I would go to the blue-black chapter in my books and I would start there. I would also use Qigong, that is extremely calming. Not that's energetic, but that it's absolutely nourishing for the kidneys and the bladder. That wave that we were doing would be fantastic. And to go with that, what I would say is help the girdle channel by rubbing the kidneys, sweeping your hands around the girdle channel and just bringing your hands to below your belly button. Maybe then do 10 wave breathing, followed by 3 rubbing of the kidneys and around to the belly button. And that's going to really help your stress response, because we all get stressed. But what happens with post-traumatic stress and any of the conditions that have been brought on by lots of accidents or years of trauma is that here's the stress response. We start and then we have a calm. So a bit like babies that are crying, if they feel comforted, they have that stress, and then they also have that comfort and they know that they're safe. So we have to bring the body back to a safety. So rubbing the kidneys, because the kidneys, remember I said that each of the organs related to an emotion. The emotion of the kidneys is terror and fear. So starting with kidney health would really help stop the body fighting itself. It's going to bring itself, it's going to know how to self-soothe. You can't avoid stress in life. You will have stress everywhere. You know, we breathe in, we breathe out, we breathe in, we you know, there are pathogens in the environment, there are the foods that we eat. We encounter many things for the body that it has to deal with every day. But if we can give ourselves a sense of safety and a sense of understanding that this will pass, that we don't have to stay in this hyper vigilant response, we need to come down and de-stress, then the body eventually then will understand that this is the natural flow of breathing in and breathing out. You have stress, you come down. So by working on the kidneys, rubbing the kidneys, bringing them over the girdle channel and holding below the belly button. I hope that helped. Let me just check in there. Carrie, I hope that helped. And you just have to do the practice. You have to self-soothe. You have to do the practice. So I know I can see quite a few of my Qi Flow group on there. If you ever want to comment and say, because I just think the Qigong is amazing for bringing the body to a sense of safety and a sense of power and a sense of strength in the body. Great. Carrie says, thanks, I'll do that. Brilliant. Yeah, it is taking those first steps. And then everything will open up and maybe you'll see solutions that you never even thought of before. But calming the kidneys is the place to start with the autoimmune system and post-traumatic stress. Now I'll take a couple more questions. If you have any more questions.
This might be a bit silly.
Nothing is silly. I love silly. Give me silly.
No, I was just thinking that I hadn't realized my solar plexus area is very tight, and I drink a lot of liquid, which I thought would be helpful. I don't know why. I suppose I'm thinking in terms of constipation, so water and herbal teas and things. I don't know what the question is. The question is, I don't know what the question really is. I think you've explained the connection between the lungs and the large intestine. I'm just wondering, you showed us the point for the solar plexus.
I think the tension. Don't worry, it's good. It really is good. It gives me a chance to waffle on some more, because I think really, I don't think it's the water that's causing the tension. I think maybe it is the diaphragm that you've got sort of some tension there. So we can just rub here. It's quite usual that people have a little bit of kind of tension in their solar plexus. We hold a lot of emotions here. And the other emotional muscle is the psoas, which comes from the thigh bone and wraps around up to the spine. And those two are very much involved in breathing. And remember, how we breathe is how we talk. It's how we connect with people. So just to see how your breath is, how far does it go down? Does it feel like it gets stuck somewhere? How is the wave breathing?
I have to be very focused to breathe. It doesn't seem to be natural to me.
So having the practice twice a day of wave breathing, and then actually your body will get into a habit and you won't have to think about it. Just the same as you don't have to think about your heart beating.
Yeah.
You won't have to think about, we just get patterned into responses.
Yeah. Is there any, I do yoga, so the yoga breath is slightly different in the sense that you breathe in and out through your nose generally. I just wondered, would that be a bit of conflict? I don't know.
I really think a lot of the time, just see what the body says. See what the body says and go with the body. You know, I know what you mean. There's a lot of similarities between traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine and all the yogic practices. There's so many similarities, but there are a few differences. But then I figure, you know, don't get too much in the head, be in the body.
Yeah.
I'm sure that if you looked, you would find practices of breathing that breathe in and out through the nose in Chinese medicine, and in yoga in through the nose and out through the mouth. So I'm sure there are lots and lots of crossovers. Try it and see how it feels. In Chinese medicine, a regular way is you breathe in through the nose and then you breathe out as if you're blowing through a straw. So there's a little bit of resistance. And breathe in as if you're breathing in the sweetest smelling rose. And then this muscle here, the diaphragm, also then begins to relax because you're breathing in something very delicately beautiful. And it just helps the breath to sink lower by really opening and relaxing.
It's actually quite emotional. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, actually. Yeah.
I look forward to seeing the picture. If you draw a picture later on, don't you draw a lot of pictures? I think I've seen them on Facebook. So maybe just talk to your solar plexus and see what color they were, you know, it would like. I'm a great believer, obviously, I work with the body and I talk to the body, and the body really talks back. And all my books are just about interpreting what it's saying.
Okay. Yeah, I don't usually talk to my body, but I am starting to at time.
Lovely. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed that question. Thank you, Ruth. And I think thank you, everybody. I will come. I'm just going to have a little check through the chat, make sure that I didn't miss anything. Anita, Chi Flow with Joe is amazing. Very good. Thank you, Anita. Becoming part of my life. I definitely have more energy. I'm sleeping better, generally feel a lot better and stronger in myself. I'm doing it now almost 6 months. It is fabulous practice. And Janu, I love the practice every morning. And once you do it every day, you feel the difference. Worth trying and see for yourself. Yeah, if you want to try, next Friday is the free Qigong class. And we're going to be doing Eagle Rises. It's a beautiful Qigong movement for really opening and feeling the power of your inner eagle. I can feel a huge difference. Thank you, Janu. And Pat, I can't pull my belly in when I breathe. I can breathe in and swell it, but not pull it in. I carry a lot of weight above in the belly button. So we just even imagine that the belly button is going back to the spine. It doesn't have to physically move loads and loads and loads. I'm not the skinniest person in my life. I have been skinnier, but I still imagine my belly button going back to the spine. It's as much, if you come to the Chi Flow class next Friday, I'm going to be showing you an exercise that shows you your movement in your body is all in your mind. And you can move all the energy in your body with your mind, never mind your muscles. So use the power of your mind, expand, see the belly going like a balloon, and then breathe out. And just imagine your belly button going back to the spine. That is the place to start. Nicola, thank you. It brought tears to my eyes, understanding the connection between the points you were sharing. Thanks, Nicola. The breath is a very emotional tool. How we breathe, how we speak, how we cry, how we sing It's all on the breath. And it's all about our individual expression of being human and being in this body. So don't be surprised if some of these emotions that have been held, these patterns that have been held in your body, once you relax these muscles, the emotion can just free itself. And sometimes it comes out of your eyes in tears. Okay, Simone, I have someone interested for the free class. What can I do to give it to her? They can visit my website, and you go to Chi Flow with Joe, and you will see that there's an area there that they put their email in, and they go into a mailing list which is called free class, and I send them out the free class. The other thing you can do is you can go on Instagram and you can click the link on the bio, and I will go onto Facebook and I will put a link on there that if somebody wants to sign up for the free class, they just click the link and they put their email in, and then they automatically get it. But the way with emails is you have to check your junk, you have to check your spam. Okay, remembering my body, remembering. Thank you, Maud, thank you. And Julia, thank you so much, it was great. All right, it was brilliant to see you all, and thank you very much for your questions. I will be sending out the recording. Have a wonderful chi-filled day, sending you lots of chi and lots of love. May you be happy, may you be well, may I be happy, may I be well, may all beings everywhere be happy, safe and well. Take it easy, see you soon.
Thank you.